a barbaric killing in the nation's capital which left one National Guard soldier critically wounded and another dead, only blocks from the White House. Who is Rahmanullah Lakanwal, the suspected Afghan killer who allegedly terrorized Washington, D.C. on Wednesday? Here's everything you need to know. Near Farragut Square Park on November 26, gunshots rang out when a shooter ambushed two National Service Guard members in a broad daylight attack. The gunman, later identified as 29-year-old Rahmanullah Lakanwal, allegedly trained the sights of a .357 Magnum caliber Smith & Wesson revolver at two armed National Guard members, Sarah Beckstrom, 20, and Andrew Wolf, 24, who had been patrolling the area at the time. Beckstrom was wounded in the heinous attack and later died. Wolf was critically injured. A third unarmed National Guard member rushed to the scene, reportedly leaping towards the suspect and stabbing him with a pocket knife, according to conservative lawyer and strategist Mike Davis. A fourth National Guardsman later ran toward the fray with a pistol drawn and shot Lakanwal in the buttocks and leg. Disturbing video obtained by the Wall Street Journal shows the moment the hero National Guard member started shooting at the suspected terrorist, just moments after the alleged gunman ambushed Wolf and Beckstrom. More troops were eventually able to run to the scene and pin the gunman down as he was taken into custody. Lakanwal and his family were welcomed into the U.S. 4 years ago after he served in the CIA-backed elite NDS-03 counterterrorism unit, one of at least 5 paramilitary Zero units that worked with the U.S. clandestine civilian organization. Because of his service to the U.S., Lakanwal was led into America in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome, a Biden administration program to help Afghans who fought against the Taliban escape the war-torn country in the wake of the disastrous American withdrawal. After being welcomed in the U.S., Lakanwal, his hijab-covered wife, and their 5 children settled in the idyllic northwest Washington city of Bellingham and were given a $2,000 per month apartment. Neighbors told the Post he largely lived a quiet life in a modern apartment building where he often played Call of Duty and FIFA. One neighbor told the Associated Press that Lakanwal disappeared about 2 weeks before the shooting. A senior U.S. official told CNN that in 2021, Lakanwal was vetted by the CIA and checked through the National Counterterrorism Center. The official said the Afghan was, quote, clean on all checks. Some of that reporting, though, has now been contradicted by the National Counterterrorism Center's director, Joe Kent, who blamed the Biden administration for a lapse in Lakanwal's vetting process. It is true that the terrorist who conducted the attack in D.C. was vetted by the intelligence community. However, he was only vetted to serve as a soldier to fight against the Taliban, AQ, and ISIS in Afghanistan. He was not vetted for his suitability to come to America and live among us as a neighbor, integrate into our communities, or eventually become an American citizen. Lakanwal had applied for asylum in December 2024 and later got approval under the Trump administration in April of this year. While it's not entirely clear what his job was, a relative told NBC News that Lakanwal worked as a contractor for Amazon Flex, a delivery service in which contract workers make deliveries with their own vehicles. A motive for the shooting is still unclear, but officials are describing the attack as targeted. A childhood friend of Lakanwal said the shooting suspect suffered mental problems from what he saw in Afghanistan. President Trump has also speculated about the suspect's mental state.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other. That's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted.
Following the attack, the Department of Homeland Security announced it would stop processing immigration requests for Afghan nationals, pending a review of security protocols, and that all Biden-era asylum cases would be scrutinized. President Trump also directed a sweeping review of green card holders from 19 countries of concern. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro announced Friday that Lakanwal, who survived the shooting, will be facing upgraded charges for the deadly assault. The refugee had already been facing charges of assault with intent to kill while armed and possession of a firearm during a crime of violence over the bloodshed. Pirro said Lakanwal will now face a first-degree murder charge.